and the record is called Paper Trail.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious. Tell us all about Paper Trail and the making of Paper Trail.
Well, I decided to title it Paper Trail because some of the songs I wrote most of them or finished them up in the studio with Patrick, like while I was there. And some are literally from tiny scraps of phrases and things that I had littered all around my house for a long time, or in notebooks from many years ago, and it became a bit of a scavenger hunt to pull it all together. But originally I was just going to do me and the acoustic, like super stripped down, simple, like let's get this over with, kind of get my friends and my family off my back about it. They're like, you should make a record. Like, it's super easy to do and doesn't take any time or anything. I love you. But, so I actually did a song for a friend's wedding, which I'm going to play today. And that led me to meeting Patrick. And after meeting him, he heard the work and was like, I really think you should consider maybe producing these a little bit more bigger,
like fleshing them out.
And let's he loved the writing. I mean, we didn't mess with any of that, but just I learned a lot about how to build the arrangement of song and give it more space for little accents and things like that. And once we did one that way, it was like, forget it. We have to do the rest of the record like this. And I could not be more excited about it. I'm really proud of it, but Patrick's gift in part, apart from being like an amazing musician, you make me sick, buddy, you make me sick. He's also, I tell people, he hears the unhearable. So the space and the room that's left in the song to expand or, build the emotion and accent something and really put the emphasis where you want it. He's just the master at that. And I think everybody else who's sat in these seats this year has told you the same thing probably. But so it was an organic process of each one of those songs growing from just really stripped down acoustic and me to asking, well, what sets the right mood for this message and what kind of instruments are going to help tell the story. So he's really good at that. But yeah, so it turned out to be, it's my first full-length album, and it's fully produced, and like crazy good musicians are on it and have helped out. Like Brian Hoflick drummed for me for half the album. Patty did the other half. Trey Stone came in and did some keys for me. I've got Blair out of Birmingham. She did some strings for me. I've got horns. It's like just threw everything in the kitchen sink in there to make it a final piece of work that I can be really proud of. So, and Patrick too, and everybody else really. I couldn't have done it without him, obviously, but so it's great.
So do you approach writing a song lyrically first or musically first?
You know what? Most of the time, it happens simultaneously for me. So I have a tune and a phrase, and it'll usually start with a phrase. Like, for example, like Carolina Blue, which I'll play later, David Payne.
Is he already asking for it?
He always asks me to play that song. He tells me I've got like another year to play it before people will really recognize it. So, but no, I love Dave for that and all those guys because they give me really good advice and feedback about what to play in my set list. So I'm listening. But like that song, Carolina Blue, just the phrase Carolina Blue is what came to mind when I was thinking about my friend's fiance, Lorraine. She's lovely and she's from North Carolina and she's got these beautiful blue eyes, and all I could think was Dave thinking to himself, oh man, I'm in deep. She's Carolina Blue, and it kind of started with that.
Amber Hargett with Barry from her forthcoming record Paper Trail here on your Tuesday afternoon alternative. And I am convinced, and I promise you, there was no unnecessary twisting of arms. But Amber has agreed to play some songs live for us. What do you got for us, Amber?
Yeah, well, I'm going to start with Carolina Blue. That's kind of the song that started this whole crazy wagon. So here we go.
Say what you will, I can't be persuaded that it ain't worth being domesticated. It's funny, but I know I'm when I'm with you. I'm seeing the stars now. You're Carolina. Ooh, Carolina. Ooh, we're tight enough, but we'll still be free. She can be her and I'll be me. Knowing that the others will do the same thing. Honey, I'm ready to walk that line. A hurricane couldn't change my mind. I never was so sure. If anything else, it's true. I'm all in, baby. You're Carolina. Ooh, Carolina. Well, song, your voice, the taste of your lips, loving your heart and swaying your hips, and for everything I did, honey, I just want to thank you. Yeah, I'm with you. You're Carolina. Ooh, Carolina. I want you to hold me. I want you to love me. Let me love you too. Let me love you too. Carolina,
Fantastic.
Thanks.
That's a great song. And you played that at a wedding.
Yeah, it was for their wedding reception. My friends Dave and Lorraine, I love them. Hi guys. Yeah, they asked me to. They actually got married in North Carolina, and a hurricane hit, and they wound up
Oh, no.
all their stuff. I mean, they
Oh.
just had to smush into a 2-car garage. I think is where they actually held the ceremony. And just Lorraine has to be the coolest bride ever. I mean, she was just so calm and chill about it, and making sure everybody was comfortable in the garage before they started the ceremony. Or so I'm told. I couldn't be there, but we were here in Ohio, and they wanted to do a reception, and asked me to play something like for their first dance, and I started researching that stuff, and just everything's been done for weddings. You know, there wasn't anything that seemed to suit them, and so I said, hey, do you mind if I kind of make it a surprise? And Dave and Lorraine were both cool with that, which is amazing, and so they had no idea what I was going to do, and I just decided to write it from Dave's perspective. He's like a brother to me. We've known each other for a long time, and I knew when he met Lorraine there was something different about it, and that she was probably going to be the one. Just kind of had a feeling. So I wrote it all from Dave's perspective, and they came out and they started dancing, and I think they maybe made a single rotation before they just stood there and cried, you know, which was really tender and wonderful. I mean, a good cry, you know.
Oh, right, but how wonderful.
Yeah, and I just felt like that was the best way to do that for them, and it just was serendipitous that I would meet, you know, a couple other guys in Bribing Senators with Patrick, and Dave was playing with them at the time, and they all encouraged me to reach out to him. And anyway, the rest is sort of history, or is becoming history, but
Well, there you go.